The education sector in Nigeria has suffered several setbacks, with the funds always being allocated to it being on a low side. As a result, numerous closure of schools has been experienced, which has led to a large number of youths migrating to other countries to further their education. Addressing this, a lecture was held to highlight some of the likely problems for the inadequate funding and the probable solutions to improving the educational system in the country. The governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo, who was ably represented by the Commissioner for Finance, Lagos State, Dr. Rabiu Olowo, noted his concern on the reduced standard of education in the country, calling for adequate funding of the sector.
Tertiary education contributes significantly to the development of any nation through research, development of innovative ideas, and production of quality manpower that are churned out yearly. However, the capacity and the ability of our public tertiary institutions to fully serve its noble purpose is being hampered by the challenge of inadequate funding, which has been responsible for the protracted disputes between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of University. I strongly believe that the time has come for all stakeholders to provide a lasting solution to the issue of funding of tertiary education, and indeed the education sector generally in our country.
The guest lecturer, Professor Emmanuel Inadozie, spoke extensively on the challenges associated with both the low and high funding of the country's educational sector, alongside the opportunities gotten from effectively boosting the sector financially.
Organizations such as the World Bank and UNESCO and some major donors have accepted that a multi-pronged approach or strategy at all levels of education is important, that you just can't leave one level and focus only on the others. So acknowledging the urgency of strengthening their higher education sector, African governments have also started to increase the amount of public funding they allocate to higher education. So all kinds of reforms have taken place, whether it's in terms of leadership, research and development, governance, autonomy, which is important, have also been the things that are being looked at. But nonetheless, the COVID-19 pandemic and school closures have really exposed the funding challenges of tertiary education in many countries, particularly sub-Saharan Africa and Nigeria. Funding tertiary education in Nigeria has been insufficient, inadequate, unpredictable, and unsustainable. I'll repeat that. It has been insufficient, it has been inadequate, it has been unpredictable, and it has been unsustainable. So there lies the heart of the problem, and that is what we need to try to address.
Also speaking, Professor Ngozi Osarene gave our thoughts on the importance of adequately funding the educational sector.
We need to start having this rethink until we start telling ourselves that we need to fund and invest adequately on education. Because what is happening now is not sustainable. Is when you feel like you dash a child that is hungry, you give small chocolates, you just touch the mouth. That is not what we are talking about. For funding and investing in education to be sustainable, to be predictable, to be equitable, we have to have the willpower. We have to have the willpower to do what is right. We have to have the willpower to budget and release. Because oftentimes, what is budgeted is not what is released. And oftentimes, what is budgeted for education is mainly a greater proportion. Is not capital, not for capital development, it's personnel cost.
It's therefore imperative that the government adequately invest in the nation's educational sector, as in so doing will boost the standard of education and a reduced rate of migration amongst younger generation. From Lagos, Emmanuel Olububukun, KAFTAN Television.